Good afternoon, viewer, and welcome to SWAT television station. And this is news at 3 p.m. From SWAT television station. My name remains Nyaramike Augustine Uzochukwu, and my co-presenter is
Sandy Blessed Odujoba.
Now welcome. And these are the news headlines. Yes. Reverend Father Mbaka reviews what will happen to Buhari, senators, and members of the House of Representatives. Titanic battle in states.
PDP made irresponsible spending, Buhari says.
The news in details. The spiritual director, Adoration Ministry, Enugu, Nigeria, Reverend Father Mbaka, has warned President Muhammadu Buhari and members of the federal legislature of impending doom. The fiery cleric gave the warning during his sermon at the Adoration Ground, Enugu State, yesterday. Mbaka advised President Buhari to travel to Rome, where he would ask God's forgiveness for the blood of men of God and innocent men, women, and children killed under his watch. He said there will be disaster if leaders in the country, low and high, fail to ask God for forgiveness. According to him, from the councillor to the Igwe and everyone in the rank of leadership, to the people who call themselves senators, who are the businessmen of the country in the name of lawmaking, are hovering in the House of Representatives. Who are they representing actually? They are representing the disaster that is coming. All of them would go to the bishops of the country and kneel down, lie down, present Buhari. If you don't do this, you will know that the man of God has spoken. Apologize to the mother church that Buhari should take them to other leaders in the country, to the nunciature. The Pope's representatives are there. If you, Buhari, can't take them to Rome and apologize for the blood of the holy men and women that you are shed under your government, God can prophesy someone into a position. If you know how Nebuchadnezzar became the president, he went there under prophetic order. When God wants to punish his people, he can use a leader. The Nebuchadnezzar, God later pushed into the bush.
President Muhammadu Buhari has described the 16 years of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, as an era with unprecedented and irresponsible expenditure. He spoke during an audience with the leaders of organized labor comprising Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress, TUC, led by the NLC President, Ayuba Waba, who were on a congratulatory visit. According to the President, the PDP has not been able to successfully explain to Nigerians what they did with the unprecedented earnings during the period. He claimed no tangible infrastructure was built. Buhari, who recalled the negotiation that led to the approval of the 30,000 minimum wage, said he had to ask Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, to remind the workers what his administration met on the ground and what it has been able to achieve with the minimal resources. During your negotiation with the Minister of Labour and when he briefed us in council on 30,000 naira minimum wage, I gave an analogy of a mad woman who went to fetch firewood, but when she realized it was too heavy for her to carry, instead of reducing, she added to it. I said we are struggling to survive as a nation. You workers knew what this country was earning between 2009 and 2015. You knew the state of infrastructure when we came in. God gave them 16 years of unprecedented earnings. Multiply 2.1 million by $100 by 16 years. I don't think the PDP has been able to successfully explain to Nigerians what they did with that money, because some of the roads, especially the main ones from here to Onitsha to Port Harcourt, remain the same the way since PTL days, not to talk of new ones, in spite of monies they earned from petroleum in 16 years. You know, the rail was virtually gone. They spent $16 billion in power, and Nigerians are asking, where is the power? It was unprecedented, irresponsible expenditure. Most of you are unanswerable to Nigerians. I appeal to you through our mutual friend, the Minister of Labour, to tell you where we found the country, where we are, and what we have been able to do with the resources available to us. Oil production from 2.1 million barrels per day went down to 500,000. The militants were unleashed on this administration, and yet, as confirmed by a leader, we had to ensure payments to pensioners who were dying to collect their entitlements. So, really, there were terrible management of this country in the last 16 years, and we are just trying to make up. We cannot succeed without your cooperation. I appreciate the pressure you are under in your respective constituencies, most especially if you have to submit yourself for elections. You have to prove to your members that you are with them rather than with the government, and we understand. President Buhari also commended Labour for their patriotism during the presidential and National Assembly elections. As a result of what you did, many citizens were able to travel and vote. I am also aware that many of your members were very active in voters' education and promotion of peaceful elections in your various communities. Thankfully, the presidential elections were conducted peacefully in most parts of the country. As we go to the polls this week, my prayer is that we also conduct elections in a non-violent manner. Waba assured Buhari that the workers were partners in progress. Government and labourers are primarily partners in progress. The success of government is linked to its workers, and the success of workers is linked to government. The NLC leader said one of the finest hours of labor with any president of the country was Buhari's bailout to states to pay salaries and pensioners. We also commend you for paying off the pensions and accumulated entitlements of disengaged staff of Nigeria Airways and many other pensioners whose pension had been left to accumulate by successful governments. Despite the recession, you did the right thing. The Labour leader appealed to the National Assembly to earnestly pass the National Minimum Wage Act, while also asking the President to thereafter sign it into law within the shortest possible time.
Barely 48 hours to the titanic battle to elect governors in 29 states. 991 members of houses of assembly across 36 states, 6 chairmen and 62 councillors for the area councils in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu Abubakar, has warned that security agencies will be ruthless against those planning to disrupt the exercise. This is even as the National Security Advisor NSA revealed that several security agents have been deployed across the Federation to ensure peaceful polls. The duo spoke at the Inter-Agency Consultative Committee on Election Security, ICCEX, meeting, even as the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu warned that the Commission will not only refuse to issue certificate of return to any candidate who holds any INEC staff hostage to sign results, but would also cancel the polling unit election. In addition to elections into 1,082 constituencies nationwide, the Commission will also conduct supplementary elections in 14 states, covering 7 senatorial districts and 24 federal constituencies. Elections in the affected areas were disrupted mainly by acts of violence involving ballot box snatching, abduction of INEC officials, overvoting, and the failure to adhere to regulations and guidelines. According to IGP Abubakar, the security arrangements we provided during the presidential presidential election are still in place. We have viewed what we have done and seen where needed improvement. We sat down with other security agencies, agreed and put in place an improved security for the next election. So every Nigerian is encouraged to come out and cast his or her vote. Both domestic and foreign observers are encouraged to come out and observe. This also includes the journalists. INEC staff are also encouraged to perform their duties without fear of any molestation. Electoral materials will be safeguarded. It is going to be very tough for those that disrupted the process last time in some of the states. They will never get the opportunity to disrupt the process again. Anyone who attempts to do that, there will be consequences. It is better for them to stay at home than come out to disrupt the process. Don't attempt it, because we have known your modus operandi and we are ready for you. The NSA, who was represented by Salisu Galadima, added, "We are hopeful that this weekend's election will equally be largely peaceful, despite the security report of plans by some unscrupulous hoodlums to disrupt the forthcoming election." We have been receiving a lot of issues for conveyance to the presidency. Besides, it is worthy to note that for the first time in history, the NSA has deployed quite a number of personnel to all the 36 states of the Federation in view of the importance attached to this election. INEC boss described the meeting, the last consultative meeting before the second phase of voting in the 2019 general elections, as important. He said movement to the local government areas would be completed today, while all materials and relevant personnel will arrive at the registration area centers, RACs, tomorrow. With this arrangement, the INEC boss is confident that all polling units will open at 8 a.m. nationwide. I wish to assure Nigerians that the Commission will work closely with the police to ensure the diligent prosecution of all violators of our electoral laws, he noted. Now, to end the news, here are the main points again. Reverend Father Mbaka reveals what will happen to Buhari, senators, and members of the House of Representatives. Titanic battle in states.
PDP made irresponsible spending, Buhari says.
Thank you for listening to the news at SWAT television station. Thank you. My name is Ngaramike Augustine Uzochukwu, and
I remain Sandy Blessed Odukowa.
Thank you, and always tune to SWAT television station.